My partner is out of town and I had another man sleepover. My partner has been out of town most of the past 3 months for work. We have been dating for almost 2 years. I miss him every day, but for the most part I've gotten used to it because I am very independent and also I know this is the best thing for his career. However, last night I think I really messed up. I went out with a bunch of other PhD students and we got pretty hammered. Some of them wanted to go to a strip and I had never been, so I said sure. The strip was going to close in 30 minutes, so I figured if I didn't like it it would be over soon anyways. I ended up having a decent enough time, but I feel very guilty for going to a strip with men. I am also bisexual, so that adds to the guilt. However, my partner and I had discussed strips before and we both believe it is not cheating and is not a hard boundary for either of us. I do think he will be surprised to hear that I went to one though. After the club, one of my best guy friends in the program drove me home. We will call him Sam. This is quite typical as he lives pretty close to me. My partner has met Sam on multiple occasions before and knows that he drives me home a lot and that we are strictly very platonic. We joke around that me and him are like family. When Sam was dropping me off, I offered for him to come and take a hit of my Zaza and he said sure. He comes in and takes one of the nastiest hits I've ever seen. I mean, it was hard. He's dying on my couch, so I go bring him water and some cough spray, but it's clear at this point he's way beyond the point he can drive, and I am also way beyond the point of driving. I have a full guest room, so I move him up in there and let him pass out for the night. At this point it's 4 a.m. I went in my room and closed the door but immediately started freaking out. I mean, this night started out with a club and is ending with another man in my house while my partner is away. The whole situation looks so suspicious, and I know I would be very mad if my partner did this to me with a woman. We had never talked about what happens in this situation and what our boundaries are. Luckily, I noticed that one of my friends, also in the PhD program, that lives a few blocks away, is sending me Instagram reels, so I text her and ask her to come over and stay the night to make it more like a sleepover, so that I was more comfortable. She's an angel, so she did, and it made me feel a lot better. Now it's the morning, and I know when my partner gets home in a few days I'm going to tell him everything. This all is extremely out of character for me, so I feel like he is going to be shocked. I can't help but feel like I self-sabotaged myself and let my impulsivity hurt my relationship. I cheated on my boyfriend with the same woman he met almost daily, and I'm glad I did it. It was the best decision I ever made. My now ex-boyfriend was emotionally and verbally abusive. He'd call me derogatory names when I didn't do something he wanted, and he'd make hurtful comments about my body. I'm not even overweight, but I have body dysphoria. I was crying every single day. I wanted to leave him, but I couldn't because I was emotionally dependent on him for everything and we were living together. He started going to strips and being open with me about and telling me he enjoys seeing women that look better than me. He went so often that I felt like he was cheating on me. I just had to go for myself and see what it was like. One night I went and decided to pay for a dance. It just so happens that I got a dance from one of the dancer he sees. Little did I know meeting her was going to be the best thing that ever happened to me. I was a bit drunk and tipsy, so I overshared with her about my boyfriend and told her about him. She said she knew who I was talking about because he'd always talked badly about me to the dancers. I just broke down and cried right there like a big idiot in front of her. She gave me a tissue to wipe my tears and gave me a huge hug. She said she didn't know what my boyfriend was talking about because she thought I was beautiful. It made me cry even more, because it made my day for a girl to think I'm pretty at least. I kept going every so often, then eventually we exchanged numbers and started going out. I was so surprised to see she dressed like a boy when she wasn't working, and to learn that she was gay. She told me she doesn't like men at all, but she makes good money off of them. People really surprised me a lot. She had and has the cutest personality ever. She opens doors for me and would ask me if I was tired or if I had anything to eat. I realized I was attracted to her and she was attracted to me. This kept going on for a few months. One night she kissed me and told me to leave him and to move in with her. We made love and she made me look at myself in the mirror and tell myself I'm beautiful. I thought it was time to leave him because at that point I realized I deserved better than to be emotionally, mentally and verbally abused almost every day by someone I used to love. While he was at work, she helped me pack up everything. I sent him a text detailing why I was leaving him. I changed my number and blocked him on everything. I live with her far away from him and haven't heard from him in months, and honestly I'm glad. I don't care about your opinions on me cheating on my abusive boyfriend. I have no regrets. If I never cheated on him I would have never found the power to leave his toxic and abusive self, and be with a girl who loves all of me and makes me feel so beautiful. We've been together for 6 months and I'm still so in love with her. She's still the same loving and sweet person she was when I first met her, and she's amazing in the bedroom, like full-blown amazing. She makes me finish all the time and he hardly ever did, maybe only once a month if I'm being honest. She works at a different club now and I found a new job I'm starting soon and I'm so excited for new stuff to come my way. I feel so blessed and lucky.
My wife was killed in a tragic accident, then I found out she was cheating. 2 months ago my wife of 10 years tragically passed away in a car accident, hit by a drunk driver in broad daylight. I cried non-stop for 3 days. We were planning on having kids and I had started a good paying job a year earlier and we just purchased our first home just 2 months before her death. I just couldn't and still can't believe she has really gone from my life. It's like just yesterday everything was heading in the right direction and would soon raise a family. She seemed happy in our marriage and stated how proud of me she was. The following week after the accident I received her phone, which was locked. After a week I found out how to unlock it by an obvious code I didn't think of earlier. I simply just wanted it to keep photos in her memory, photos of us and so forth. But I saw some odd things in her photos. Included photos of her in someone else's house, a house which I had never seen before, taking dirty images. I continued scrolling down and seen the most heart-wrenching thing I ever seen. Which was her with another man. It was nothing intimate, but they were in a place that was obviously his. And just how close they were, I just knew that this was an affair. The guy who my wife had an affair with, showed up at her funeral. I felt like I got stabbed in the gut when I realized I seen him there. I began reading her texts and first I found out that she was on her way back, from his place. 3 hours before the accident she texted him saying, "I'm on my way." I knew that meant he was the last one to see my wife. Not only see her but having an intimate moment with her, also she would still be here right now if she wasn't seeing him. I feel like I'm going through a death of a loved one and a breakup at the same time. She did this behind my back and will never know that I found out. In a way I feel she got to escape the heartbreak she put me through, although I fully understand death is much worse, and even knowing everything I know, I would never ever wish this or any pain upon her. I found out not only through her texts but her Facebook messages. Something that absolutely enrages me is that she told her closest friend that this guy from work wanted to take her out to dinner. Her friend encouraged her to go out with him. It enrages me because I knew her as well and in person she was always very nice. But my wife was asking her to get confirmation. Had she said no, you are married, do not go out with him, I honestly feel like she wouldn't have done it. But her best friend was like, oh, is he hot? Oh, do it. Go have fun. It's just enraging. This happened 6 months ago when she asked her friend about it. A few days later she talked to her friend about how after dinner she went to his place and made love with him multiple times. When I read that I honestly got physically sick. I honestly started going through a breakdown, vomiting in the toilet then crying on the bathroom floor. I just can't imagine that this stuff actually happened, but it did. How could she do this? But as the days passed and the initial shock began to slow down, I started piecing things together. The funeral I noticed something a little unusual, which was this best friend of hers, talking to one of her coworkers. This was a friend from high school and there was no reason she should have known any of her coworkers. But she was in fact talking to her coworker who she had the affair with. Then she came and talked to me, gave me a hug. The guy who my wife was having an affair with, came and shook my hand. Something about that just makes me feel sick. Like I was being humiliated in a moment of grief. There was him and her best friend who knew about her affair. I couldn't help but wonder, did her coworkers also know? It's been a month and I feel no closer to breaking away from the heartbreak. I miss her, I want her to be alive. If she was, I would probably even want to fix our marriage. But she's not here anymore. I still couldn't bring myself to read all of her text messages with him. There is hundreds and some are very explicit. My blood boils and my heart aches when I open their texts and I get hit with anxiety and an adrenaline rush, palms get sweaty and hands shake. But I feel it's important I knew everything. It just breaks my heart this guy did things with my wife she wouldn't do for me. The thing that blows my mind the most is that there were no warning signs at all, not one. Our marriage was good, she never did anything suspicious, our intimate life went on as normal. Just zero warning signs about it other than the fact she started wearing a little more makeup than usual. Then I blame myself for not catching on. Maybe this all could have been prevented. Maybe I should have done this or that. I am broken and don't see myself ever being happy again. Edit. I have got a response back from her friend, stating that she is deeply sorry for encouraging the behavior and not taking my feelings into account. She never wanted me hurt and yada yada. Honestly, I don't feel any relief from her apologies. About the phone, I cannot bring myself to destroy all the truth. I feel like I must read through the entirety of my wife's texts with this man or I will forever go crazy wondering what did and didn't occur, how often, and maybe get some answers on if they were lovers. Was it just lust or what did she plan on doing? Obviously in this state of trauma I cannot emotionally handle reading their conversations, but I decided to keep the phone, to read it all and then toss it and move on. Also, for people telling me to piss on her grave, or saying this is karma, please drop it and don't comment. I loved her for over a decade and it's not going away like that. I still love this woman even with the disgusting things she has done. She was still my wife, a daughter and an aunt. She didn't deserve to get hit by some drunk driver and suffer with bleeding in her brain that ultimately caused her death. Please go away, I do not need this and I am not a sick-minded enough man to have those thoughts. For everyone else, thank you so much. My friend set me up with my girlfriend as a joke. They've all slept with her before. I've, 22, been with my girlfriend, 22, for 4 years now, and it's been the greatest 4 years of my life. She's the sweetest person I've ever met. She's hilarious, insanely creative, she's an artist, goofy and just the happiest girl you'll ever meet. She's always smiling and very outgoing. She's so energized and I'll admit it's sometimes hard to catch up with all her adventures. But wow, it's been so amazing being with her. My friends introduced me to her this summer. We all graduated high school, and we immediately bonded. We're both into comics, anime, Marvel and DC, Dungeons and Dragons. We had so much in common, we just became super close very quickly. The fact we had so much in common made it easy for us to spend time together, going to conventions, anime events, game tournaments, superhero films. This all of course led to us officially becoming a couple, and the rest is history. My parents also are in love with her, which is honestly the cherry on top. It's nice to see my parents be so welcoming towards my girlfriend, although they've gotten a little protective towards her like parents. I plan to propose to my girlfriend later this year, as we always joke about getting married, having a weird geeky wedding and starting a family, and I really want that so much, so proposing to her is my main goal. Fingers crossed she says yes. I really hope so. Now this is where my friends come in. I have 3 close friends of mine, friends I grew up with since elementary. We all split up a few months after high school, they left to another city for college, so right now we all either just talk through Zoom chat or I go visit them once in a while. I decided to stay in the city I'm in, be close to family and my girlfriend. Well, I told my friends that I plan to propose to my girlfriend, that I'm 100% ready to start a family with her and how excited I am to see how it goes. They kept asking if it was serious, even calling me dumb. They really were going at it with me, quite roughly. I just figured they hated the idea of marriage, so I ignored their comments. That's when they told me the truth, and holy crap, the proof, they had made it even worse. They all said they met my girlfriend 8 years ago at midnight bowling. They met her through a friend of theirs that invited her that night. I don't know this other friend at all, so I can't say who it is. That's how they all met. They thought she was hot and cool, so they stayed in contact with her. After that, my friends still continued hanging out with my girlfriend, smoking Zaza, playing video games, anime, and of course, intimacy. They told me they'll pass her around the group for fun, and that's practically why they were friends with her. They kept using the S word, which crawled into my skin in such a negative way. So pretty much they just kept my girlfriend around for lovemaking. All 3 of my close friends have slept with her plenty of times. This lasted a good portion of high school, but of course I didn't know my girlfriend at this time because she attended another high school. They decided they'll introduce her to me because they wanted to see if I can also get lucky, that it was all a joke to see if I can also end up making love with her. I didn't believe any of it, but my heart completely shattered when they showed proof from Instagram messages. It was nothing inappropriate like pics or anything. They just showed me that they all indeed kept in contact with her in the past. And you know what they did? They made me the dumb guy and made all this a joke. They said I'm dumb for dating her, that I should have known better. They didn't expect me to date her at all, that my girlfriend was going to act promiscuous towards, but they were surprised she didn't. How the hell am I supposed to have known better? Friends introducing friends to a boy or girl is a normal thing. That's how I interpreted all of this. Also, I had no idea about their history with my girlfriend, so them saying, I should have known better is ridiculous. I didn't see my girlfriend as an object like them. I saw her a friend that I ended up falling in love with. She treated me very kindly, comforted me whenever I was sad, told me how much she loved me. We fell for each other. It wasn't just intimacy. The only reason my friends told me this was because they think me getting married to her is too far, so they expected me knowing the truth would lead to me dumping her. She's too much of a promiscuous woman, man. Just let her go, one of my friends said. I just got off the chat, and they've been sending me non-stop texts ever since. I haven't replied. I don't feel like talking to my friends at the moment. I did peek at a few messages out of curiosity, and instead of apologies, I just got a lot of dude, get checked bro. You might have caught something. It wasn't even serious. It was in a jokey manner, which is annoying. I approached my girlfriend about this, as polite as humanly possible, and I instantly regretted it. She broke down completely, which I'll admit kinda teared me up. I've never seen her panic so much. She was freaking out as if someone died. She kept apologizing, telling me she's never slept with anyone else while with me, and said she didn't know about the joke my friends were doing. She told me my friends simply invited her to hang out, and during the hangout they introduced her to me. That's how it all went. She says she wasn't aware of a plan or anything. You probably think I'm a S word, right? Is what she kept saying, which just hurt me to hear. She told me she loved me, that to please just ignore my friends to not break up with her. I just told her I loved her as well, and that what I know doesn't change my feelings towards her. She still thinks I'm going to break up with her, which I won't ever do. I just kept her in my arms, that's all I could do. I didn't want her panicking, so I just comforted her. I've been with this incredible girl for 4 years, created beautiful memories with her, and I'm not going to let what my friends have said to me ruin what I have with her. The reason why my girlfriend didn't tell me earlier was because she cherished our relationship the moment we met. She didn't want to hurt me, and I understand completely. She says I treated her kindly, like a human being, and she appreciated that. We connected because of our similarities, and she felt more comfortable with me compared to my friends. She was afraid if I knew the truth, I wouldn't have considered being with her in the first place. My girlfriend thought I was going to think of her as a S word, which I absolutely would never have done. It was obvious she felt guilty, but I told her she didn't do anything wrong, that her past was her business, and that I still love her very much. I'm not mad at my girlfriend. Why should I be mad? She didn't do anything wrong. Her past is her past, and it's none of my business. Who she sleeps with is none of my concern. My feelings towards her haven't changed. I love her with all my heart. I always will. I'm mad at my so-called friends, because one being they're taking all of this as a joke, speaking of my girlfriend awfully, and the other being that this all started as a little joke between them. They didn't have good intentions when they introduced me to my girlfriend. They simply passed her to me thinking I was going to treat her like a toy or a piece of meat. I'm just shocked. That's what I am. This whole thing has been mentally stressing me out, and I wish I didn't know about it. I love my girlfriend, but I'll admit the thought of her with my friends hurts me. I've cut all contact with my friends these past couple of days. I've been ignoring their calls and texts, and there's a ton of them. I just don't know what to do. I really don't. Also, the thought of my girlfriend immediately making love with my friends kinda bugs me, because me and her took it slow. Maybe she did care about me compared to my friends, and didn't want to hop straight into intimacy. I also think this because even my friends said she didn't act promiscuous towards me, that she actually cared about me. You see, these are the stupid thoughts I'm getting in my head, and I hate it. I'm personally still going to propose to my girlfriend. I'm not leaving her. I plan to cut contact with my friends and simply focus on my future. If any of you have any advice to share, I'll greatly appreciate it. I definitely need to relax my mind, that's for sure.